The Miami Dolphins just took down the Buffalo Bills, and the good news keeps rolling for Miami fans. This game was more than just another win. It was a statement that the Dolphins are here to compete with anyone in the league. Leading up to kickoff, there were plenty of trade rumors swirling around Miami, especially about Waddle and Achane and Jaylen Waddle. Teams were calling, offers were floating, but the Dolphins stood firm. They believed in their guys, and that belief paid off in a big way. Waddle and Achane both delivered electric performances against Buffalo, proving exactly why Miami refused to even consider moving them. Waddle torched the Bills' defense with 5 catches for 84 yards and a touchdown. A reminder that some players simply aren't for sale. And hey, before we dive deeper into this, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and share it with your friends. And of course, hit that bell icon so you never miss an update. Now, according to reports, the Bills were the most aggressive team trying to pry Jaylen Waddle away from Miami before the trade deadline. NFL insider Tom Pelissero revealed that Buffalo actually made a serious push, offering a 2027 first-round pick and a 2026 third-rounder. Miami listened, but never wavered. Think about that for a second. Trading a young star like Jaylen Waddle to a division rival? That would have been a disaster. You don't hand one of your biggest weapons to the team you're battling for the AFC East crown. It's that simple. Miami reportedly wanted at least a first-round pick and more if they were ever going to entertain the idea. And let's be honest, even 2 first-rounders might not have been enough. You can't measure what Waddle brings to this team just in draft picks. He's speed, energy, chemistry, and the heartbeat of this offense alongside Tyreek Hill. So, for anyone saying the Dolphins made a mistake turning down that deal, let's set the record straight. Keeping Jaylen Waddle was absolutely the right call. Trading him to Buffalo would have been a monumental mistake. Holding on to him wasn't just smart. It was essential for Miami's future. Let's be real. If the Dolphins had traded Jaylen Waddle to a team like the San Francisco 49ers for a first- and third-round pick, maybe you could understand that move. That's a deal with a contender outside the AFC East, not a rival you face twice every season. But trading him to the Buffalo Bills? Absolutely not. That's the kind of decision that haunts a franchise for years. Imagine watching Waddle line up in those blue and red Bills uniforms, torching Miami's defense for 80 yards and a touchdown. That would have been painful to watch and completely avoidable. Some things you just don't do in this league, and trading your young offensive star within your own division is one of them. So, let's put this question to Dolphins fans everywhere. Should Miami have accepted that trade offer? A 2027 first-rounder and a third-round pick from Buffalo for Jaylen Waddle? Type Y for yes or N for no in the comments. But honestly, the answer feels obvious. You don't trade away one of your best players to a team you're trying to beat for the division crown. Sure, if it's a smaller deal, maybe swapping veteran role players or late-round picks, that's different. But when it comes to cornerstone talent like Waddle, a homegrown star who changes games, that's untouchable territory. And when you look at what Waddle has done this season, it's clear why. Even without Tyreek Hill on the field, he's been phenomenal. Against teams like the Panthers, Chargers, Ravens, and of course, the Bills, Waddle has shown he can carry the load. Over 100 yards and a touchdown here, 80 yards and a score there. Consistent, explosive, dependable. Go back to his rookie season. Over 1,000 yards, 100 catches, and 5 touchdowns. That's not just good. That's elite. Waddle isn't just a playmaker, he's a difference maker. He's the kind of player you build around, not the kind you ship off for draft picks. The Dolphins front office made the right call, plain and simple. Holding on to Jaylen Waddle wasn't just a smart move, it was a defining moment for this franchise. Mike McDaniel and the team's decision-makers deserve credit for standing firm, because giving him up to a rival like Buffalo would have been a disaster of epic proportions. And as reports surfaced, Miami also received interest in their lightning-fast running back, Waddle and Achane, another young weapon the Dolphins were wise to keep. Reports say Miami was asking for a second-round pick and more in return for running back Waddle and Achane, and honestly, that's the bare minimum they should have considered. Achane isn't just fast, he's explosive, dynamic, and one of the most dangerous offensive weapons in the entire league. Trading him for anything less would have been a massive mistake. Once again, the Dolphins front office made the right call. Achane is still just 24 years old and already performing like a top 5 running back in the NFL. He's not only a rushing threat, but a complete offensive weapon. Someone who can change the game in a single play. Against the Bills, he racked up 225 total yards, continuing what's been a breakout year for the young star. Think about it. There aren't many backs in the NFL who can do what Achane does. His combination of speed, vision, and receiving ability makes him a nightmare for defenses. If you're listing the best running backs in football right now, Achane's name absolutely belongs alongside Bijan Robinson, Jonathan Taylor, and Christian McCaffrey. And here's something worth noting. When Christian McCaffrey was traded from Carolina to San Francisco, he fetched a second-round pick plus multiple day 3 selections, and that was when McCaffrey was 26. Achane, just 24, is already putting up production on par with what McCaffrey did early in his career. The comparison says it all. Miami's young back isn't just good, he's special. Trading him now would have been selling low on one of the league's fastest rising stars. The Dolphins recognize that, and they're right to build their offense around him. Achane and Waddle represent the future of Miami's explosive attack, two elite playmakers that make this team one of the most exciting in football. For Miami, holding firm on their trade demands was absolutely the right move. If a team wanted Waddle and Achane, it needed to be for a first-round pick, or at least a package like the one Christian McCaffrey fetched when Carolina traded him, a second, third, and fourth-rounder. Anything less simply wouldn't make sense. Yes, Miami is still shaping its long-term roster, but you don't rebuild by giving away your most dynamic young stars. You build around them. And right now, the offensive cornerstones of this team are clear: Waddle and Achane, Jaylen Waddle, and left tackle Patrick Paul. These are the players who define Miami's next era, the foundation of a new-look Dolphins offense that can compete with anyone. The Dolphins front office showed patience, vision, and discipline. They listened to offers, but unless a truly massive deal came their way, they weren't moving their young stars. That's how great teams are built, not through panic trades, but through trust in their talent. And honestly, this win over Buffalo felt symbolic. It wasn't just a game, it was a message. Miami hasn't beaten the Bills since 2022, and now, with fresh leadership and smarter decision-making, they dominated their biggest rival. This felt like the start of something new, a turning point for the franchise. Of course, there are still questions about other moves Miami could have made at the deadline. But when it comes to players like Achane and Waddle, the Dolphins made the only decision that made sense. Keep your young core intact. Because the results speak for themselves. Over 300 combined yards and 3 touchdowns between those two players alone. That's what happens when you believe in your stars. That's what happens when you choose to build, not rebuild. Miami's future is bright, and it's powered by the young talent that just helped take down Buffalo in statement fashion. Jaylen Waddle and Waddle and Achane aren't just playmakers, they're the leaders of Miami's future. They represent everything this new era of Dolphins football is about: speed, confidence, and the will to win. Now, as Miami moves forward, the focus shifts to what comes next: the draft, free agency, and how this team continues to grow under its current leadership. There are still questions to answer, no doubt. But one thing's clear: this locker room believes. The way the players have rallied together, fought through adversity, and continued to play for each other shows that something special is building in South Florida. It's too early to make bold predictions, but there's a feeling, a spark, that this team is heading in the right direction. If the Dolphins keep making smart moves and trusting the core they've built, the payoff could be something truly special. So, if you believe in this team's future the way we do, make sure you're part of the journey. Hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and stay locked in for daily Miami Dolphins content. We'll be here breaking down every game, every rumor, and every big moment, because the story of this team is just getting started. Fins up. The future is bright in Miami.